Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rock and Metal Guardian. I'm Dane, your host. Hope you're doing great wherever you may find yourselves. Blessings to all of you wonderful people out there. Finally, at long last, I have my video ready. This is something I've been wanting to do for months, if not longer than that, where I talk about, again, it's finally here, I'm excited, sorry. I talk about my top 10 favorite live progressive rock albums of all time. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Coming in at number 10, I just did a video on this. A review, the wonderful Jon Anderson and the Band Geeks Perpetual Change Live, or Live Perpetual Change. This is all Yes songs. And what a set list you have here. It's by no means perfect, but it's close to perfect. You can never have a perfect set list unless you want to perform for 4 hours when you're a band like Yes or Rush or a progressive rock band, right? In some cases, other bands that aren't progressive rock. But if you have a big discography, right? You can't please everyone, but this comes very close for me. Yours Is No Disgrace, Perpetual Change, Close to the Edge, Heart of the Sunrise, Starship Trooper, Awaken, excuse me, CD2, and You and I. Then Your Move, I've Seen All Good People, one song, The Wonderful and Majestic Gates of Delirium, and then Roundabout. Again, almost a perfect set list. I love this. This was such a treat to have and to listen to. I've listened to this 4 times already, not in a row, of course, but if you like the music of Yes, this is essential to your catalog. As I said in the previous video, I'll be brief here. Jon Anderson has never sounded better, 80 plus years old, right? And the band doesn't miss a beat in sounding like Yes, although there are a couple snippets where they do their own thing, and I don't have a problem with that. It's very small in the concert, but boy, it is amazing. My favorite Yes song is here, Gates of Delirium, over 22 and a half minutes, and boy, does it sound amazing. Everything sounds amazing. The whole band is on fire. Great job, Jon Anderson. Great job, Band Geeks. Thank you for this so much. Number 10. All right, coming in at number 9, I don't own a physical copy of this, so I have to go to my notes, but I have an MP3 version of this, and I'm talking about Steve Hackett's Live at the Royal Albert Hall. Yeah, this is amazing. This is it's a two disc set, so you get Genesis tracks through and through. So you start with Dance on a Volcano, then Dancing with the Moonlit Night, Fly in a Windshield, great, off to a great start, right? Broadway Melody of 1974, Carpet Crawlers, The Return of the Giant Hogweed, The Musical Box, fantastic. Horizons, a short but great tune. Unquiet Slumbers for the Sleepers. In That Quiet Earth is next. Afterglow. Then I Know What I Like. Disc 2, Firth of Fifth. I'll come back to that song. It's my favorite from the band. Then Ripples. Then The Fountain of Salampsis. Love this song. Supper's Ready's included here. Watcher of the Skies. And Los Endos. This is like the previous album, very close to being a perfect album, if not a perfect album. There are many days I think this is a perfect album. I think it's all Genesis tunes but one song. Don't quote me on that. But for me, the highlight, and everything on here sounds wonderful. Everything sounds here amazing, despite the fact that you don't have Collins or Gabriel on vocals. But the real treat here is that Firth of Fifth, which is 10 minutes and 15 second songs, is one of the best versions of the song. It's not as good as what's on Seconds Out. Seconds Out is live-wise. Seconds Out is here, the Firth of Fifth version, but it's almost touching. That's how good it is. Here's why. The late, great John Wetton is on vocals here, and he does a dynamite job. When I heard this, when I heard that he was going to be on this album, or someone told me that he was, I downloaded it as quick as I could, spent my $9 or whatever for the digital download. Going to get a physical copy at some point if it stays in print. And boy, was I loving what I heard. And what I heard is like, John Wetton could have been the next vocalist of Genesis. That's how good it is to me, to my ears. So look what you get here. Again, just to repeat some of the songs. You get some of the greatest epic tracks from a band of all time. Although it's Steve Hackett solo with his own band, it still sounds like Genesis through and through, though different vocalists, though it works. Everything here works wonderfully. The Return of the Giant Hogweed, an epic track. Musical Box, an epic track. You get Firth of Fifth, which is an epic track because it's 10 minutes and 15 seconds long. The Fountain of Salampsis, epic track. It sounds amazing. It sounds gorgeous. Supper's Ready, 26 minutes, 15 seconds. Sounds amazing. And then Los Endos is almost 9 minutes. 68 minutes in length. An hour and 8 minutes. Short considering you have 18 tracks. But boy, what an album. I love this album. When this came out, I was so stoked. And I'm so stoked just to talk about it. That's how good. I can't say enough about this album. Steve Hackett has really come through late in his career as a musician by revisiting the Genesis catalog over and over again. You had Live at Hammersmith before this, which unfortunately is out of print. You have Wuthering Nights live in Birmingham, Genesis Revisited Band and Orchestra, Selling England by the Pound live, Seconds Out and More live, Foxtrot at 50 live, right? So many wonderful live albums. Of these 9 or 10, this is my favorite. I've heard them all. This is by far my favorite, so I have to include it. Number 9, my 9th favorite live prog progressive album of all time. All right, so excited to talk about that. Coming in at number 8, King Crimson. So many to choose from. I could have picked so many, but I had to go with my gut and pick my favorite lineup, which is, speaking of John Wetton, Fripp, Cross, and Bruford. Easy Money, Disc 1, Lament, Book of Saturday, Fracture, The Night Watch, Improv, Starless and Bible Black. Disc 2, Improv Trio, Exiles, Improv, The Fright Watch, The Talking Drum, then Lark's Tongues and Aspic Part 2, and then 21st Century Schizoid Mad. Not a perfect album, but still stellar. It's not perfect because this could have been a triple album. What's missing here? Starless and Bible Black Part 1, which is my favorite of Parts 1 and Part 2, but it is what it is. And you also don't have Starless on here. A great companion to this would be the live album USA. I didn't want to pick something from a box set, but yeah, this is fabulous. Despite that it's missing some tracks, it's just that good. This is the one I gravitate towards the most, despite the fact that it's missing some tracks I wanted to hear live. There are other, there's so many King Crimson live albums, right? But this is the paragon of Wetton era live albums, and so I had to pick it. So coming in at number 8, King Crimson, The Night Watch. All right, coming in at number 7, Rush, Different Stages. Big Rush fan. You have 3 CDs. I'm not going to talk about the bonus CD, which was a different recording from Hammersmith Odeon London 1970, which you can now get the full set list, which goes with the Farewell to Kings 2-disc version. Anyway, sets 1 and 2 are Dreamline, Limelight Driven, Bravado, Animate, Show Don't Tell, The Trees, Nobody's Hero, Closer to the Heart, and then 2112 in its entirety. So that's disc 1 or set 1. Disc 2, set 2, Test for Echo. Great live version here. Analog Kid, the first ever and only version of something they've put out live. Don't quote me on that. It's marvelous here. One of the best songs from the Signals album. Free Will is amazing here. Roll the Bones, not a song I care for. It's okay. Stick It Out is really good here. Resist is a nice treat here. Leave That Thing Alone is amazing. Great instrumental from the band. Then you get the Rhythm Method, which is even better than Leave That Thing Alone. Then you get, I think, the first time ever that they released a live version of Natural Science. It's marvelous. This is why, one of the reasons why it makes the list. There are others. Then you get The Spirit of Radio, Tom Sawyer, and YYZ to close things out. And what a great way to end the album. You have to have Free Will on this album, and it does. If Free Will was not on here, this may have been dropped from my choices of top 10, but it's here. Thank goodness. Of course, you can rarely have a perfect album, but this is so dynamite. The band sounds amazing. Yeah, this was a nice treat. This was still when Rush was putting out an album after every 4 studio albums. So this comes after their 4th chapter, if you will, if you count 4 albums as a chapter or that sort of thing. So yeah, this comes out. This is the Test for Echo Live tour. So great album. If you had these as a kid, I did. Anyway, sidebar. So yes, coming in at number 8. Sorry, I take that back. 10, 9. Yes, that was number 7. Excuse me. 6, 5, 4, 3. Yes, that was number. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was number 7. I apologize. Coming in at number 6, Kansas 2 for the show. Our 2 guitarists of the original lineup, Kerry Livgren and Rich Williams, never sounded better. They never sounded heavier. Song for America, Point of No Return, Paradox, Icarus, Portrait, Carry On Wayward Son, Journey from Mariborn, Dust in the Wind, acoustic guitar solo follows that, Lonely Wind, then a marvelous piano solo, Mysteries and Mayhem, excerpt from Lamplight Symphony, which is dynamite, The Wall, I just love, and then Magnum Opus to close it out. One of my favorite songs, Magnum Opus, instrumental, genius of a song where every member of the band gets to showcase their talents, whether vocally or instrumental-wise or both in the case of Steve Walsh. Then you get CD2, which is bonus tracks, Hopelessly Human, most of these, if not all of them, different tracks from the bulk of CD1. You can listen to them back to back like an extended version of the live recording. Child of Innocence, Biloxi's, Cheyenne Anthem, Lonely Street, Miracle Out of Nowhere, Drum Solo, The Spider, Closet Chronicles, Down the Road, Sparks of the Tempest is amazing, and Bringing It Back. All CD2 tracks previously unreleased except Closet Chronicles. So Closet Chronicles was on the original version on vinyl, but it had to be part of the second CD because of time constraints. This is a fantastic live album, although this is kind of lackluster for a gatefold. But when you open it again, you've got some serious cool photographs of the band in their heyday. This is Kansas at their prime, folks. And boy, what an amazing band. We'll never see the likes of them at this point in their career again, or a band like Kansas, I don't think, although they've done some good work with their last couple of albums. I've warmed up to those at first. I did not. I've said that before. But yeah, this is, again, almost a near perfect, if not a perfect set list, I think. It's close to being a perfect set list. I would have liked a song or two more from their first album. But anyway, great album. Coming in at number 5 is Pink Floyd. The double live album, Is There Anybody Out There?, where they performed The Wall in its entirety. And you get some new songs here because the story goes, legend has it, that they needed more time to put the bricks in place or take them out as the set called for because it's live. And so you get songs like, let's see, What Shall We Do Now is one of them. The Last Few Bricks is the other one. And let's see if there's any more. You just have Master of Ceremonies, which isn't anything. So it's those 2 songs because they're putting bricks in. You got some cool photographs. This also came in a double thing like this, but it doesn't have all the cool photos and other things that came with it. The liner notes and that kind of thing. Anyway, there's some really cool stuff. There's Mom, right? Oops. So we put this back in. All right. Yes, so. Oops. So let me talk about this production. This is fabulous. This is just a treat because you get The Wall in its entirety, plus 2 new tracks, and the band sounds just amazing. I forget where it was culled from, which tour or tours. It was a combination of songs like so many bands are wont to do. They love it or hate it, like it or love it, right? But trying to find that information. But come to me later. But yeah, this was the band in their prime, maybe a little bit past their prime, thereabouts. Definitely what follows with the Final Cut and that sort of thing, beginning to take the wheels starting to come off because of the fighting between Waters and Gilmour. But if you're a big Pink Floyd fan and you love The Wall, and it's one of my favorite albums of all time, it's my second favorite Pink Floyd album after Animals, you have to get this. This is still in print to my knowledge, but not in the booklet form that it is here, this long box version. But yeah, this is a great, don't you want your favorite studio albums to sound, if it's a concept album, to sound Dynamite Live? Boy, does it here. It checks all the boxes. So yeah, this is a must-own. I'm so glad I bought it finally at some point in my life. All right, so that was number 5. Coming in at number 4, Genesis, Seconds Out, great album cover. Squonk, The Carpet Crawl, Robbery, Assault and Battery, Afterglow, Firth of Fifth, 8 minutes and 37 seconds. My favorite live version here, as I said. But boy, that John Wetton version is so close. I Know What I Like, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, The Musical Box, closing section only, unfortunately. Supper's Ready in its entirety, 24 and a half minutes. Cinema Show, 11 minutes. Dance on a Volcano, 4 minutes, 20 seconds. And Los Endos, almost 6.5 minutes. You only get 12 songs here, so not really the full track listing, I don't believe. I think if you look online for the full set list, there's some songs missing. But this is an amazing production, amazingly engineered. Steve Hackett could be a little bit more present in the mix, but there was the fighting between him and the rest of the band was going on at the time, so he's almost on his way out, as you know. But what he does present here is amazing, right? Such a wonderful guitarist. Supper's Ready. Well, the whole set list, despite the fact that you don't have Gabriel on vocals anymore, Collins just does an amazing job, especially on Supper's Ready. And that was the most, when we first heard this, right? That was the one we were questioning whether can he pull this off. He does it in spades. He does everything marvelously. Everything here is marvelously done, vocals and with bass and guitar and drums and keys from Banks. It's just phenomenal. Great set list, not perfect though, but it is such a great album to have. This is such a joy to have in your Genesis collection if you like live music. All right, number 4. Number 3, gotta have some Yes songs. What a set list. Opening from Firebird Suite, as they were wont to do, to go into Siberian Quattro, almost 9 minutes, is fabulous. Heart of the Sunrise is amazing, my favorite Yes song of all time, after Gates of Delirium. Perpetual Change, over 14 minutes, it's a wonder, it's a dynamite. And You and I, fabulous. Mood for a Day is great. Then you get excerpts from The Six Wives of Henry VIII, which when I first heard this on vinyl as a young man, I was skeptical because I hadn't heard Wakeman's solo stuff yet. His stuff is hit or miss, the earlier the better. First 4 or 5, and wherever this is, I think is in there somewhere. It definitely, this is a marvelous. It works so well and flows so well between Mood for a Day and the next track, which is Roundabout, to close disc 1. Remember, this was a triple vinyl release in its inception, if you will. Roundabout is amazing here. Disc 2, I've Seen All Good People, clocking in at 7 minutes exact, is fabulous. Long Distance Runaround, so glad it's here, almost 14 minutes. The Fish is fabulous, despite, it's short and sweet, right? Close to the Edge, almost 19 minutes, it's great. The full song. I Get Up, I Get Down section is just, it's my favorite section, the goosebumpy goodness, right? Yours Is No Disgrace, 14 minutes, 21 seconds. Starship Trooper, almost 9.5 minutes. Life Seeker, Delusion, and Worm, of course, those 3 sections. I think the set list here is perfect. If it's not perfect, it's near perfect for where they were at their time in their career. Yeah, it's perfect. 1973. Produced by Eddie Ophert. Go ahead, figure. Wonderful, wonderful. Some people have commented that the production could be better. It's not perfect, but I like it. I dig this very much. Thank you, Yes. All right, coming in at number 2, more Rush, All the World's a Stage. You don't have 2112 in its entirety, but you have 5 of the 7 sections. You have Overture, Temples of Syrinx, got to have those 2 right. Presentation, Soliloquy, and Grand Finale. Presentation, of course, has the wonderful guitar solo in it. Starts off with Bastille Day, as you know, which is fabulous. Anthem is great. Then the 1-2 punch, that is track 3, Fly By Night / In the Mood. Fabulous. Something for Nothing, equally fabulous. One of their heavy tracks of this time period back in the day. Lakeside Park, take things down to, have a more quiet relationship with the crowd, if you will. Take things down a notch or 3, right? But it works so well. And then setting you up for the majesty that is 2112. Then you get the highlight of the evening by Torn the Snow Dog, clocking in almost at 12 minutes. Almost 12 minutes. 3 seconds short of 12 minutes. And of course, for many of us, this is the definitive version. I like both versions. Some days this is my favorite. Other days it's the studio version. But regardless, you have Lifeson pulling a Jimmy Page and playing his guitar with some bowstrings or making effects that make it sound that way. I'm not sure. And you have this eeriness and this creeping and haunting backdrop of music, soundscapes of, the battle that's to come between the protagonist and his forsworn enemy. It reminds me of, that descent into hell motif in classical music and prog in general, that, or at least for me, it makes me think of that, hence the material. In the End is just dynamite. It goes light and shade, soft to heavy, when Geddy sings 1-2, buckle my shoe, and then it kicks in, right? Just great. Working Man, Finding My Way. The collage of those 2 songs in one is almost 15 minutes long. This is amazing. It's dynamite. It's perfect live versions of this. Much better. Well, as much as I like the studio versions of those, these 2 versions are even better, I think. And then What You're Doing, also from the debut. Pert, Not Afraid, not egotistical to say, hey, I'm not doing the early stuff, from Rutsey. Love Pert doing that. Being a team player, he always was. All 3 of them were, right? Yeah, so it's amazing that you close the album with 3 songs from the debut album, and they're all heavier than the debut, and those are pretty heavy. So what a great album, coming in at number 2. And finally, kind of a tie, but really the winner is Live in YYZ, the 3rd disc from the Moving Pictures re-release. And essentially what this is, I call it a tie because this was my favorite live progressive rock album of all time, and there's a history I have with this album. It's nostalgic, but the music is good, despite the fact that, it's not the full set list. And as an abridged version, it's still dynamite of the full set list. But thank goodness, like Pink Floyd putting out At Pompeii finally for us, Rush did us a favor and put out the entire set list of that tour, Moving Pictures / Exit Stage Left tour, and you get the full set list. This time around, you get 2112, Overture, Temples of Syrinx, Free Will, Limelight, Cygnus X1, Book 2, Hemispheres, Prelude, then Beneath, Between, and Behind, The Camera Eye, YYZ, Bruins, Bane, The Trees, and Xanadu. Then Xanadu. Disc 3, The Spirit of Radio, Red Barchetta, Closer to the Heart, Tom Sawyer, Vital Signs, Natural Science, Working Man, Cygnus X1, start over. Working Man / Cygnus X1, Book 2, Hemispheres, Armageddon section, The Battle of Heart and Mind, then still / this is one medley by Torn the Snow Dog, In the End, In the Mood, 2112 Grand Finale. Let me repeat that. This is one suite or one medley. Working Man, Cygnus X1, Book 2, Hemispheres, Armageddon, by Torn the Snow Dog, In the End, In the Mood, 2112 Grand Finale. Then the last track, Like Here, La Via Strangiero, is just amazing. This is, for me, the definitive version, not the studio version. And when I listened to this, I was like, please be as good as this, and it is. This is Here, and then this is touching, and that's how close they are. And I don't think they're from the same night, so they sound like it, but I don't think that they are. So yeah, so you get the full concert here, finally, and this came out in, God, the print is so small. This has been out since 2021. It's hard to believe. I have this on vinyl as well because I wanted the booklet and just for nostalgia purposes as a collector's item. I did open it though, but it's, but yeah, this is kind of a tie because this is the same tour, just different tour dates, if you will, and this has such a nostalgic part of my DNA, and then this, because it's the full set list. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite 10 or more favorite prog live albums are. I could have done honorable mentions, but I didn't. There's just so many wonderful live progressive rock live albums. There are other Rush ones. There are some other things from Yes out there. There's things like live dates from Wishbone Ash, but be that as it may, these are my top 10 favorite of all time. Take care. See you next time. Bye now.